Okay, so actually what I would like to present in this slide, yeah, this is the result of our project, which has been funded by the Japanese Society for the Promotion of Science, or JSPS, Takin Bansi with number 225-60367. But it is allowed to show the result in the public places like in this conference. And then part of this paper has been accepted in IEEE PTC 2012, which will be held in Yokohama, Japan, May. So next May, I will also present some part of this result in Yokohama. And then yes, and then some part of this result also presented in Lisbon, Portugal, for the IEEE tutorial for European project cost IC 1004 with the title of Cooperative Radio Communication for Green Smart Environment. Because in the future, we are facing the problem of energy, including our ICT. That's why yesterday I was really very happy to hear the presentation from Dr. Lu from ISD. He said that the future of ICT should be for lifestyle. Should be for lifestyle. But actually, we will have the problem area or in that application. And then today, I would like to show you why we have the problem in the future, and then if we do not do any actions today, and then nothing will change in the future. Okay.
Here are your questions. Actually, I have the answer because I had some room with him, but I don't know.
Okay, so this is the first principle that we should understand. This is an irony. The vegetable law say that a few months in laboratory can save a few hours in library. Do you agree with this? The best way is a few hours in library can save few months in laboratory. Yeah? And then I hope that today, a few hours in this conference can save few months in laboratory, or even can save few years in laboratory. So actually I took this law because in 2004 I came to Indonesia and I explained to our colleagues that we should research on OFDM at the time. What is OFDM? It is orthogonal frequency digital multiplexing. But at the time, no response. And then just last year, I went back to Indonesia to make a tutorial in Indonesia, and then I just got surprised. They are researching on OFDM, but nowadays OFDM is almost dead. It's finished. That's why knowing some hours in this seminar, I hope that we can save a few years in the future. But if you have any questions, just raise your hand. Or if you have any comments, just raise your hand and then tell me. But first of all, I would like to ask you how long I should take this presentation.
Around 30 minutes actually.
30
but we
minutes.
have a long discussion session which is around 25 to 30 minutes. So it's almost 1 hour for Dr. Anwar.
Okay, actually I have 41 slide. But I hope that I can finish it within 30 minutes so that we can have more discussion. Okay, this is the outline of my presentation. The first, I'd like to tell you what is the definition of information, and then in that discussion, I will provide a quiz with the title of Rector and Reputation of the University. And then how important is a theorem with the quiz of Jensen's inequality for business. one of you understand what is your sensitivity, but no problem, don't worry. And then future problem that is challenged in 21st century, especially in ICT area. And then I would like to show at least 3 solutions. The solution is according theory. Yeah? And then I will provide a quiz, transmissions of a princess. And then solution number 2 is cooperative communications. And then I would like to give a quiz, information theory for married couples. So there are 3 couples, and then you should solve which couple should make communication based on the information theory. And then the last, it is the solution number 3, the paradigm shift for future technology. And then I would like to give a quiz about paper cup problem in the party. Well, there are 5 quizzes. Don't miss even one quiz. Okay, definition of informations. Any of you can tell me what is information?
Does anyone want to answer what is the information?
Yesterday we discussed many times about ICT, it's information and communication. But it's very strange when you don't understand what is information.
So actually, tonight before we are sleeping, he asked me, do you know what is information? And thanks God, I did dreaming that what is information in my dream, so it's okay. So anyone know what is information? He tried to answer. Okay. What is your name, please? Say to all of us. Oh, okay.
Everything that can make my mind click, everything that can make my mind better.
Oh, okay. But I remember my friend say information is sesuatu banget. Really tough.
Okay.
Okay, do people try to answer?
Yes, please at least 3%.
Oh, okay, 3%. 2% more, okay? Please for Professor.
Okay, tell you.
Sorry, I can probably most of us should try to answer your question. Everybody knows what is information, but we are waiting for your answer.
Because there is information. Please give a pause for Professor. I think the third one. Okay, you have any comments?
To me, information is, a part of life, and which is transmitted from person to person, or from one organization to another, in order to convey our message, to make certain decisions, to choose a way for making a decision. So this is not the hardware, this is the software of any action required in our daily life.
Yes, okay, I would like to give score for Mr. Inu. The score is 60, but I'm sorry, for you the score is around 40.
Okay, the last one from the student of NUS.
Alright, I think information is a collection of data which has a meaning or that we can understand it. So it's a collection of data which has meaning of it so that we can get it.
Okay.
It's around 50.
Sorry, now?
Okay,
Any answer?
The answer is this. This is the quiz number 1. Answering this quiz will understand what is the meaning of information or what is information. So if you are a rector of the university, and then what is your policy to improve reputation of your university? And then suppose that in every competition, you want your student A, win, or win, fail, or fail, win, fail.
So we have 2%, right? For the two answers given by
Okay, so just answer A or B or C and then keep the reason. After that, I will tell you about what this really information is.
Okay, anybody want to answer? Oh, I guess I have to give her for the first opportunity.
Thank you. If I am a vector, my student should choose the C answer. Fail, fail, win, and then fail, fail.
What is the reason?
The reason is, if they always win, they will not know the knowledge about the feeling of lose. But if they know the feeling of fail, they will try to reach the win, winner state. Something like that.
40%.
Okay, she got 40%, okay?
Answer.
Okay, any answer? From this part? From this part? So I have to do for you again.
If I choose A, I really is not really happy because every day I can win. But I will choose B. If I choose C, it really make me frustrated. Fail. I want to. If I choose B, win, fail. I think it's a fail. Thank you.
So the answer is
B. Tawazun. Balance.
Let's see the answer. So the amount of information depends on the uncertainty of the event. It means that A is wrong.
Wow. Can you imagine the answer is like this? Nobody imagined the answer like this.
And then it's like this. If you see the news, and then the news say that tomorrow the sun shines from the east. Is it information? No, because you already know. Except Jamul Akhir. But assume that the nature does not change. So there are information because you already know. And then the best among B and C, and then you can calculate using this equation. This is what we call entropy. So entropy is the measure of uncertainty, is the sum of probability, log in this case because we want to give the unit in bit, because bit only contains 0 and 1, and then you have to put logarithm based on 2. And then given the case that probability of being in A is 1, because there is no probability of fail, and then the amount of information in A is 0 bit, so there is no information in A. And then, what about B? Probability of B in B is 3 by 5, and then fail is 2 by 5, and then you can calculate the entropy is from 0.971B. And then what is C? C is like this, 0.7219. It means that the media will make it as a news when the probability or when the entropy is the highest. It means that the answer is B. So please give applause to.
Wow.
Maybe it is good for us to understand that if you want to be in the news, try to make something is different. Right? When you do normally, and then it's no information is even. So if you want to be in news, and then try to find new technology, for example, that everybody does not think about that, and then with a probability of 99.9% maybe you will be in the news. So this is the meaning of information. And then the application in wireless communication is that you want to send, for example, this text, and then you convert this to 0 and 1, and then at the receiver you receive. If you know this, so this is not information because you already know. Information is something that you do not know. Right? Right? So something that you do not know. That is the meaning of information. Okay? Any complaint? Okay, so if no complaints, then I will continue. What is our future problem in ICT? So this is our challenge into 21st century. In 21st century, virus will become a part of our life as house, car, computer, and everything. In the future, hotspot will be free, will be everywhere. And then the problem is the energy. So when my colleagues ask me, Anwar, what will you do 80 years from now? Maybe I will do business on energy. So I will sell my energy because I think that at the time I will have many customers because our customer need to connect everything. Nowadays, we can control this lamp using iPhone. Or even you can give food for your dog or for your cat in Tokyo, for example, from here. So this is just the starting point of our future ICT. But, unfortunately, the processors in this by this factor 13.3 times for 10 years to this area or this line. But the battery capacity increased only 0.8 times every 10 years. It means very slow. That's why the best business in the future is sell the energy. Right? And then the question is that how to solve what we can do from now. Can information theory solve it? Because it is really the problem of information. Can information theory solve it? And then is there a new resource? Is there a new resource? And then do we have new paradigm? So to answer this, actually we have thought about the three solutions, at least 3 solutions. The solution number 1, that is the contribution of information theory. In 1953, in Khoirul magazines, the information theory field is more crucial to manage progress in peace and security in war rather than instant nuclear fusion in 1953. But I hope that are you working on physics? Yeah, so nowadays, actually Einstein at the time, he agrees to develop the reactor or the atomic bombing, because it is, if you go to Japan and then you visit Hiroshima, you visit the museum. I recommend you to visit the museum so you can understand the effect of atomic bombing. The effect of atomic bombing is very sad to see that effect. And then information theory is more important. But we have the problem this. With the popularity of data compression and source coding, the impact of Shannon. This is the Shannon's, actually he submitted a paper in 1947. It's just 2 years after the independence of Indonesia, but rejected. So if you have your journal is rejected, don't worry. You have a friend. Shannon is your friend. And then in 1948, the paper has been accepted, and after that, it will be a very big. It was a very big success in the area of information theory, And then Sanon was interviewed by television, and he was asked by the interviewer, what did you feel when your paper is rejected? What did you feel when your paper is rejected? And then he replied, I think the reviewer did not understand. Okay, so the paper of Sanon say that the entropy, so we learned the entropy by learning the rector's policy. So the entropy should be less than the rate. The rate, it will affect to the bit rate if you want to have a high-speed communications, and then you have to increase the rate. Okay. But data compression say the opposite. You have to delete information. But the coding theory, this is the rate of coding theory. This is 1 by 2 log 2 1 plus SNR. This is the famous Sanon equation. This is SNR. Is the power, the ratio between the power and the noise. So if you are talking in this room, and then the room is very noisy, so you have to increase your voice. This is the meaning of S by N. But if the room is already silent, then you can speak with a very low voice. And then, and then maybe this is also important for us in Indonesia, that we cannot produce like the merit in sky. So after you have problem about the data compression and source coding, but this research does not have budget, and then no progress in information theory. But US at the time, the competitor of US is Russia. The Russia launched Sputnik in 1957. And then the US feel, oh, our enemy launched this shuttle space. And then they give more budget to the field of information theory. And then improvement, 1 dB in space is almost this one, $1 million US. And then it's around 29 million NT.
Yeah, around 29 million.
So 1 dB is around 29 million NT. And then I will show you what kind of
very high technology laptop. That's why I tell you. So now.
Okay, so it's very expensive to improve even only 1 dB. So dB is decibel. So 1 dB is around this, the price is this, but you have plentiful bandwidth on speed. And then after that, you can send information about the surface of Mars. In 1964, and then in 1969, you can improve. And then in 1971, we have a very beautiful picture. This is because the contribution of information theory, especially coding theory. And then in the future, if you can find a technique such that this communication work with a very low S, because as I told you that S should be high if you have a level of noise. But even though that noise is high, but you can use a low S, and then you can save the battery in the future. So the key word is that if you can approach the Sanon limit, and then you have a small problem in the future regarding the energy. So this is the solution number 1. And then to know the effect of coding theory, I would like to give the quiz number 2. So we have Princess. So Princess would like to visit a village. However, she should pass a dangerous forest where many wild animals are waiting. And then, according to the reports, the probability of passing this forest safely, the probability of arrives safe is 0.3. And then the king, her father, suggested her to go with the guardian. So we have guardian 1, 2, 3, 4, until n. And then the princess says, thanks father, but I cannot use too many guardians. Because for example, if the food is limited, because we cannot bring too many food, then you have to limit the guardian. So the food can be imagined as our energy in the future. If our energy is limited, so how many guardians we will use to pass the forest, and the forest is dangerous with this animal. And then, with the introduction of information theory today, can you help the princess to find the optimal number of guardians? So we have 4 options, which is A, just use 1, B, use 2, C, use 3, D, use 4.
Don't worry, the 2 person officially will get the prison. Okay, so the next 2 will have the prison also. But of course you cannot get the princess. So anybody want to try to answer these questions? In this part or in this side?
Actually, the keyword is that we should use the entropy as we have learned in the first quiz.
Oh, okay. Who is from some theories that researches in maybe reliability analysis or maybe probabilistic? I guess those 2 PhD candidates here. Okay, anybody from here? Oh, wait for another person. In this part? Okay, a girl. So please give applause for her. You already calculated, right? Or you calculated in your mind?
I think I choose 2 guardians because when we have 4 guardians, we should set the other 2 guardians, and when we need 2 other guardians, we have 2 more guardians. So we will set.
Okay, I think because you're a princess, so then you answer directly still. Okay, good answer. Then in this side, very few people, but I hope anybody can answer. Okay, someone try. I know she is a nursing, not a princess, right?
Actually, I would like to choose 2 people, 2 persons going across the forest. But when 2 people with the princess, so with the prince, so I chose A, just 1 guardian. Depend related to the probability, just 0.3. So more guardian, it will be the probability still low. So I chose A.